Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Welcome to our topic, what is halal is sufficient from what is haram. I remember a beautiful story, had been narrated from Abu Bakr, the greatest companion of the Prophet ﷺ. Abu Bakr used to be having lands, and he had employees who collect, the fruits of the lands for him, and also money. So that one of the employees, he came to him and he bought something and he gave it to him, to Abu Bakr. And Abu Bakr started to eat it. Then the man said to him, "Do you know how I collected the money of this food?" He said, "How?" He said, "In the time of Jahiliyyah, I used to be, a fortune teller, soothsaying. I used to be telling people, wrong things, giving them information about the future, which is prohibited in Islam, because no one knows what's going to happen in the future except Allah." So he said, "I was, making, exerting some kinds of fortune telling to someone, and he gave me money. And I bought this from that kind of money." Then Abu Bakr radiallahu anhu, instantly, he sought, to vomit. He put his finger in his throat and he vomited what he'd been eating. And that is narrated in Sahih al-Bukhari. Abu Bakr was so cautious not to let anything enter his belly except what is halal. This is very beautiful. The companions used to be preferring the obedience of Allah and His Messenger than, taking something. It may be beneficial, but if it's not halal, they don't take it. It had been narrated also that one of the companions said, "The Prophet Muhammad prohibited us from a certain kind of deal regarding the lands, a certain kind of trade. It used to be allowed, but the Prophet said it is prohibited. And while it used to be allowed, it used to be very beneficial." Look at what the companion said. "Nahana Rasulullah an amrin kana lana nafi'a." The Prophet prohibited us from something used to be beneficial to us. وَطَوَاعِيَةُ اللَّهِ وَرَسُولِهِ أَنْفَعُ لَنَا. But the obedience of Allah and His Messenger is more beneficial to us. How beautiful is that? Let me repeat it. The Prophet prohibited on us something which used to be beneficial to us, but the obedience of Allah and His Messenger is more beneficial to us. Will you be remembering this? Which you need to remember in your dealings, in your trade. The question is there any relevance between response and seeking halal food? Sure. In lively things there is an effect of this, and the hereafter there is an effect. In this life, you will not be responded, and I think I mentioned that before, you will not be responded if you have any kind of supplication, any kind of need. It may shackle the response of your need. If your food, the source of your food, the source of your property is not halal. The Prophet said, fear what is prohibited, you will be the best kind of worshippers. Fear Allah regarding what is prohibited, you'll be the best kind of worshippers. So avoiding what is prohibited is a matter of worship in itself. And also the Prophet, peace be with him, said, Allah is good and accepts nothing but good. Inna Allah tayyibun la yaqbalu illa tayyib. Allah does not approve anything which is not good. Allah is good. And he ordered the believers in the same of what he ordered the prophets. What did he say to the prophets? What did he order the prophets? Allah said, يَا أَيُّهَا الرَّسُولُ كُلُوا مِنَ الطَّيِّبَاتِ وَاعْمَلُوا صَالِحًا. O messengers, eat from the goods. That means what is halal, what is allowed, what is lawful, and do good deeds. Then afterwards the Prophet started to describe a traveler who is dusty, tired, taking his way of travel. Prolonged travel. It's a long travel, a long journey. What do you expect? If your journey is long, how will you be looking? Dusty, curly, etc.? Extending his hands, raising them up to Allah, asking Allah, "O Allah, O Allah, O Allah," that means supplicating, supplicating. Then the Prophet said, while the source of his food is haram, that means unlawful, the source of his drink is haram, the source of his dress, clothing is haram, and his body was grown unlawfully. So how can he be possibly responded? This hadith is narrated by Muslim. So you can see here the relevance between supplication and collecting halal sources. Because the question is, why the Prophet had to give the issue of the traveler as an example? Why didn't he say any person was raising his hands, asking Allah, but he had not been responded? Why the traveler precisely? The answer is that the traveler's supplication usually is responded. Because the Prophet said, ﷺ, دَعْوَةُ الْمَرْءِ الْمُسْلِمِ لِأَخِيهِ بِظَهْرِ الْغَيْبِ مُسْتَجَابَةٌ عند رأسه ملك موكل كلما دعا له بخير قال له الملك ولك بمثل ما قلت أو كما قال صلى الله عليه وسلم. So what was I saying? I was saying the traveling Muslim's supplication is responded. Usually the supplication of the traveler is, why? This is a reward of the difficulty and the hardship he is encountering because of his trouble. So the traveler has also a significant, he has a significance. The significance is that because of the difficulty he is facing, his supplication is responded. But even if he is a traveler, whose supplication is supposed to be responded, if his source of food, clothes, drink is not halal, this will be a barrier for his supplication to be responded. For Allah is good, and Allah does not accept what is good. And what is good is what have been lawfully gained, or what we call the lawful income. And why the Prophet gave us this example is because what he said, ﷺ, he said there are 3 responded supplications, no doubt to be responded. And he mentioned one of them is the supplication of the traveling person. But this person, while he was traveling, he was not seeking what is halal in his travel. That's why his supplication was rejected. Allah also, we know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a shying God and generous. And Allah, as he was described by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, He shy from rejecting a supplication of a person who extends his hands, raising them up to Allah, from being returned zero. That means from being rejected. But why this person had been rejected? He was raising the hands. Usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is shy from returning those two raised hands zero. It's because he was not cautious from haram. Now, one of the scholars of Islam, his name is Al-Fudayl, he made a good statement saying, or defining Ahl Sunnah, the people of the Sunnah. Who is a person who belongs to Ahl Sunnah? He said, it is he who had known what enters his belly, halal or haram. 5 days ago, I experienced a person who was, offering riba, usury, to another person, saying to him that if you need money, I give you 500 and I take 50 out of these 500. That means I'll be taking from you 550 from the 500 I gave you. So I was asking him, couldn't you find for yourself a better job than this? He said, do you want me to be a beggar? I was trying to find a job. I didn't find other than this. You want me to be a beggar? I said, yeah. I would say if your choice is confined between dealing with riba and being a beggar, I would say being a beggar is better than that. But I also believe that if you raised your hands to Allah and asked Allah to suffice you from this riba, if you ask Allah and you strive the best to find a better provision, I think Allah will be responding you because you're striving to maintain yourself from what is unlawful. But did you do that? I believe that Allah is generous. And if you seek to abstinate yourself from what is unlawful, you'll be helped by Allah the Almighty. Thank you for attending this beautiful topic, I believe, which is about how to avoid what is unlawful and to limit yourself to what is lawful. Thank you very much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.